a gathering place for children and families, a location for many an Eagle Scout project, a native plant environment. All these things and more are what Mary Watson and her friends envisioned when they first set out to create Bird Island Park more than 2 decades ago. With an enduring green thumb, Mary was no stranger to horticulture when the potential for the Bird Island Park project crossed her path. She was head of the Street Beautification Committee in Chappaqua, New York, and was a member of the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center Board in Texas before Ponte Vedra Beach became her home. As a First Coast resident, Mary was certified as a master gardener and was active with the Cummer Museum Garden Committee when her friend, Virginia Simpson, told her about some green property behind the Ponte Vedra Beach Branch Library to provide habitat and food for native animals and insects. In 2001, Mary, Virginia, and Joan Van Vleck, another neighbor and master gardener, inventoried the property and held their first meeting. In the time between then and the eventual park dedication in October 2010, Mary and her friends worked tirelessly to bring their vision of Bird Island Park to life. Mary had a strong desire to develop the property with all native plants. She and the committee were convinced that was the best way to preserve the environment, the climate, and to provide food for native wildlife and insects.
Planting the right types of native trees is important for air quality. It conserves water, it's good for the animals and wildlife. The cost of planting and maintaining native plants is minimal,
she says. Mary was neighbors and friends with famed golf course designer Bobby Weed, who provided the park's first design. The group had to get the permission of St. Johns County to even plan to develop the park. And Weed's park design was inspiring, just what the board needed to present to St. Johns County. Though the process was long, Mary commends St. Johns County for its cooperation with the project. The county's horticulture agent at the time worked closely with Mary and the group, approving the many hours they spent working to develop Bird Island Park toward the annual 50 hours needed to maintain their master gardener designations. Local Ponte Vedra artist Gail Spratt Cooper used her talents to coordinate the design elements and color combinations in the park and created the wonderful Bird Island Park logo. The park's first designs, courtesy of Bobby Weed, were completed in 2003. Mary and the rest of the group met with the Ponte Vedra Beach Rotary Club, St. Johns County Chamber of Commerce, and other community groups to get feedback. She recounts that because of the Weed family's passion project, HEAL, providing outreach for families of children with autism, the group was particularly proud that their designs featured a children's play area accessible for kids of any developmental or cognitive level. Mary and the group launched their fundraising campaign in 2006. Joan Van Vleck was the group's first treasurer and helped them set up the 501c3 nonprofit and everything they needed to fundraise, which included such fun ideas as having professionally designed birdhouses donated to the group to be auctioned off.
All the board members brought different talents to the table to help make Bird Island possible,
Mary says. The group ultimately raised about $600,000 and broke ground in 2009. It would be another year before the property was fully developed and open to the public. It was an immediate hit, with such special features as its hedged sea turtle maze, scenic boardwalk, an outdoor theater adorned with locally made mosaics.
Our mosaics were a gift from the community to the community,
says Mary. Local mosaic artists Wendy Mandel McDaniel and Jan Tomlinson Master designed the mosaics and sent their designs to Mexico to have the tiles cut. A dozen years later, Bird Island Park is an evergreen source of fun, learning, and serenity for all who visit. Mary personally coordinates some of the park's programming and even pulls weeds and plants native bloomers with her husband Frank and friends who love the park as she does. Humble to her core, though, Mary insists she was just one of a hard-working group. The founding board members totaled 15 that committed their time and resources to make Bird Island Park the destination it is today. Some of Mary's favorite programs are those celebrating native and indigenous species, nighttime events at the park, such as stargazing events in partnership with Mosh, and any that involve children. She also coordinates Eagle Scout projects on the property and notes there have been 5 projects completed there. In years past, Mary worked with St. Johns County inmates to help with landscaping maintenance. She worked right alongside the inmates every Wednesday and treated them to a Woody's lunch after a hard day of gardening. Thanks to Mary and her hardworking friends, Bird Island Park has a designation on the A1A Scenic and Historic Coastal Byway, and it marks the culmination of a true cooperation and labor of love for so many members of the beach's community that can now be enjoyed for years to come.